Hello, Jacob here. Welcome to the next module of our SCL course. In this module, we'll be talking about the project, which is a PID controller for a liquid tank. In the basic ladder logic training, we had a similar task. We implemented a proportional controller with this scenario. We set the target level for the tank. Next, the controller would fill the tank to the set level, and then the volume in the tank would be released. For this task in this project, we'll consider a slightly different scenario. Let's assume our tank acts as a buffer tank. What does it mean? It means that we are setting a level in the tank that the controller needs to maintain. Using the potentiometer, I set the value to 170 centimeters. The second potentiometer below allows me to introduce a disturbance into the system, which causes water to leak from the tank. This water leakage will cause the liquid level to change. Our job is to program a controller that counteracts these changes. It will continuously generate a control signal to keep the liquid level at the set point. In this task, we won't focus on selecting or fine-tuning the controller parameters. We'll also won't analyze the waveforms in detail. Instead, we'll focus on implementing the mathematical expressions that describe a proportional integral and derivative controller in SCL. For this task, we won't use the ready-made PID controller blocks from the Siemens library. I will show you how this type of controller works under the hood. We'll implement the core logic of the controller ourselves in SCL. First, a few words of theory about the PID controller. I will explain the complete PID structure, and then I will show you why we won't use the full PID controller in this case, and why we'll focus only on the proportional and integral parts, that is the PI controller. Let's start with the signal flow diagram of the PID regulator. I will go through each part and relate to our system. In a PID controller, we can identify the following signals. At the input, we have the setpoint signal R of t. At the output, we have the actual value, which is the measured value from the process. This actual value goes into the summing junction. At the summing junction, the difference between the setpoint and the actual value is calculated. The result of this operation is called the error, denoted as E of t. The error value is the difference between the set point and the current value. In a control system, the error indicates how far the system is from the target. The controller's goal is to minimize the error. Our controller should make the actual value equal to the set point. Okay, now let's connect the signals from the diagram with the measurement and actuator elements in the factory I/O simulation. The setpoint signal R of t enters the summing node. In our simulation, the setpoint is entered using a potentiometer. The potentiometer outputs a voltage signal in a range from 0 to 10 volts. This value is scaled to represent the liquid level. For example, I have just set the level to 106 centimeters. This value will be used in the controller as the set point. At the system output, we have the measurement signal Y of t. In the simulation environment, the measurement signal comes from the measuring ruler. It also outputs a voltage signal, and after scaling, we obtain the liquid level in centimeters. This value is displayed on the right-hand display. The error signal E of t is a variable that we will implement in the controller as a difference between the set point and the measured value. So we subtract the value from the right display from the set point value. Based on the error signal, we calculate the control signal generated by the controller. The control signal U of t in our simulation will look like this. U of t value is converted into analog outputs that control two valves. One valve releases the water from the tank and the other valve fills the tank. Before we move on to the mathematical description of the controller, let's go to TI portal and define the basic variables such as the set point, the measurement signal, the error variable, and the control signal. Okay, thank you for watching this video and see you in the next lesson.